Okay guys, today we're going to learn how to make a fruit bowl still life. So artists sometimes create something called a still life, which means sometimes it's flowers, fruit, it could be any kind of items that's on a table. Today we're actually going to be doing just fruit and a bowl. 6 lucky kids will get to set it up. I'm going to pick students that are well behaved because this is fruit, and sometimes I get students who think it's funny to like play around with it. It's not a toy. This is not a toy, guys. So you're going to come over, the 6 lucky students, and they're going to set it up for different parts of the room, and then kids can look at it. So the 6 lucky kids will get a bowl like this. They should first get some grapes because the grapes go at the bottom, and then they can drip over the side of the table like this. And then they can pick out a couple bigger pieces of fruit and kind of set them in the bowl. And this is how we're creating our still life. And then some of these, most of the fruits, the realistic size. This banana is a little small, so we could actually draw that a little bit bigger. Okay, so there it is set up, and then we'll get started. Okay, so when you start, you can look at it. You don't exactly have to draw it exactly the way it looks. In fact, a lot of times, like in this one, when we did it, there was only one orange because we don't have tons of oranges. But you can just draw a second orange because it's pretty easy to draw. So the first thing you'll do is get a pencil. And a lot of times, the basket or a bowl, the first thing I would do is draw the oval. And why an oval? Because a bowl, or here we go, a basket, looks like a circle from the top view, right? But from a side view, all right, here we go. I'm gonna do side so you guys can actually see that. You probably already know this though. So from a side view, it looks like an oval, not a circle. So that's the first thing you want to do is draw an oval, just like this. And then whatever the bottom part kind of looks like. This one has handles. You don't have to put handles on. In fact, I would not do it if that's too complicated. So I'm gonna leave the handles off this one. I might actually I kind of like the way this looks. The little stand on the bottom here. I'll do that part. There we go. All right, so I'll put the fruit back in, as we already saw the oval part. And then we'll get started. So in this picture, grapes are mostly oval or circle shapes. And you're going to learn, well, you already know this probably at your age, that there's overlapping. And overlapping means, one is in front of the other. So you definitely want to have some overlapping. So a lot of kids can just imagine how this is going to look. You could draw it just the way you see it. But then a lot of times, you can imagine there's another piece of fruit. So like here, the grapes are here, like this. But you could just start drawing them. So I'm gonna put the grapes here. So there's one, and then a little overlapping. And they're in the bowl, but they're also going down this way. Okay. Probably the easiest fruit to draw is the orange. Okay. Orange is probably the easiest because it's just basically a circle. I'm gonna have an orange there. I'm actually gonna put another orange here. Oh, wait, that doesn't look right. That's not right. and that eraser doesn't work very well. But we're gonna use pastel, so it doesn't really matter. It's all gonna be covered up. If you can't find a good eraser, I have some good white ones on the desk. Okay, so I'm gonna do the orange here. And then I'm gonna put some more grapes on this side. And they're kind of hanging down, and you can look at them. There's also some little stems if you want to draw some of those, but you don't see all the stems because the grapes are covering up the stems. And there we go. Okay. Next up is a pear, which starts rounded, but kind of goes up like that. And then we have those bananas. I'm gonna put a banana right here. This was the banana right here. So it has a little bit of a stem on the top. And then sometimes they have a little bit of green in them. Well, we're not getting to the color part yet, but anyway. Okay, so there's a banana. And if you wanted to do more than one, if you already draw it once, you should know how to draw it, so you could just draw a second one. Okay. Oh, and we did have an apple. So you can check that out and then try to draw the apple. And then I'm gonna put the apple right here. Yeah, so in a still life, it could look exactly like where it's sitting if you wanna try that. But personally, I think it's easier to kind of move some things around. All right, so I'm thinking I'd like to have some grapes go this way. And maybe go over to the other side here. So we're gonna go up. And maybe they're going down on the other side. So you can kind of see them, but then they, yeah. I'm gonna put some more there. Just a whole bunch. And then you'll notice in a lot of the displays, the grapes are not just purple. We'll have green. There's actually black grapes. So when we get to the color part, you can do lots of different types of color. All right, if you have a little space left over and you want to do something easy, I would just do an orange if you're running out of time. If you want to get more complicated, you can do more grapes. They take a little bit more time. All right. And, oh, I think I'm gonna have some grapes. Talk about overlapping. I'm gonna have some on this side, so it looks like they're coming from back here because they're hanging down. You know, it's all up to you guys. Just figure out, just make sure you have some overlapping so it looks more 3D. I would have a lot of variety. Oh, I think I'm gonna do another banana this way. Right here. Okay.